let's take a look at a treatment plan that actually is really complex in trying to explain what possibilities there are for a patient. I titled this one, Too Many Choices, Which? Question mark, meaning which one would you choose? And this is really comes down to, well, what does the patient want to do? Patients are constantly money-minded, so the financials are always at the top. No matter what they say, financials are always at the top. Cosmetics come at the top, so they're concerned about how they look and how much it's going to cost. That's pretty much it. You've solved that problem with your patients. That your problem is making sure that it functions and correlates to the cosmetics, and they don't break everything you put in their mouth. So that's the next problem. So let's look at this case. It's a 6-unit on 2 root canal treated teeth. She's had this for well over 20 years, maybe 30, 40 years, she said. She had it when she was younger. She's now in her early 60s or mid 60s. And she now finally has cracked these canines off just out of wear and tear, obviously. So let's look at the treatment assessment real quick so we get that out of the way. This is a yellow on bone density. We have facial bone and bone constriction are the orange, not quite red. And then the greens, light greens on detached gingiva, sinus bone characteristics, and ridge height. So we don't really have too much to worry about. Medical history is not contributory. So I might do this in two segments. Let's see how I can get through on this one. Here's our problem, and it's the 6-unit bridge, and you can't do a whole lot there with that. And so as we started talking about our case, I was looking at the bone here, and you have that orange constriction. It's not a red, but you can get an implant in there. And I have implants that I've placed all over the place, and it got really confusing, and that's why I wanted to do a case study here. Let's see if I can grab one to put in there. All right. Must be one more here somewhere. There. The first one. All right. So I do have one in there, and this is a small diameter. This is a 3.5. So let's go to the CT view. This is a 3.5. 3.7 by 11.5. So you can see the bone quality is not the greatest. It's a little bit lighter, but it still is good. I wish I would see a harder cortical bone out here. I don't see that, but that's okay. I think this should be fine. We're right in the line angle of which her prosthetic would be, and we're right here next door to the canine. So it's right in that lateral position. Now, if we proceed with all these other ones, we can do something like this. Let's take this away. Take this away. We can actually do 4 implants here. Something like that. So, if you do 4 implants here, you take these out. What could you do with this? Well, you could just cantilever off the canine here and here. So that could work out okay as well. And if you did that, I would recommend at least grafting these sites here so it doesn't completely collapse. So you have a 4 implant case with a 6-unit bridge. Unfortunately, they're small diameter. Here's her fortunate part, is that this patient is not used to chewing hard on the front for the last 30, 40 years. She is so conditioned not to bite on the front. That habit is going to be very hard to break out of her. So this would work, and it would take about 4 months to do because you're not waiting for the healing period of these canines. Now, if the patient, now to make it more hygienic, this is where it gets tricky, and you grafted it, and let's say you have bone from the graft that held, and you have enough room to put an implant in here. Well, you could also do 4 implants let's leave that. you can do the 4 implants like this. Now, if you did 4 implants like this, what do you gain out of it? Well, you gain cleansability for sure. You gain just a lot easier access for the patient. You gain a little more stability. It's better to have a bridge piece than a cantilever piece, which is more of a what I call a diving board. And so this is a better system. Would I split this in half, being 3-unit bridge, 3-unit bridge? No, I would not. And the reason being is that you really don't know if the patient's not going to bite hard on the front. Who knows? She has a lot of strong lowers on the bottom. I'm just predicting that she won't. Doesn't mean that she won't. I don't like having this kind of load on 2 smaller diameter implants. And so I would recommend then, if you're going to split them in half and do a 3 crown splint, and then over here you do a 3 crown splint. So now you can get into the 6 implant territory. So now you've got 3 options. 4 implants here in the front. You've got 4 implants without the laterals. That's going to take about an 8-month project, and you have to add now the socket grafts for that. Or you do the socket grafts, you do the 6 implant model with 3 splinted and 3 splinted. The positives here, obviously, is just more engineering, and you still have a nice aesthetic, and you can move on in life. Okay, we have one more choice here. The other choice is any combination of all of these 4 to 6. So what if it's 5? What if it's whatever? You know, what if an implant fails? You know, you have enough to splint a 6-unit piece. Okay, so now we've got 4 possibilities. 1 miscellaneous, 1 4 with cantilever, 1 4 implant case with a kind of like a bridge piece and a bridge piece splinted together. We have a 6-unit piece here, and so that's the 4 that we have. And then look at what we could also do, and this is where, if you look at the entire arch here, the weakest link you've got is this one right here. So this patient said that this root canal was done over 20 years ago. So now you're really stuck with the lemon here. So they get this fixed, they start chewing on it for about a year or more, and then this is going to break off. Okay, so now if this breaks off, now what are we left with? So here it comes into the idea behind the 50-50 rule. So if you remember my 50-50 rules, the first 50-50 rule is, do I have 50% or less bone supporting the entire length of the tooth? So that's a periodontal 50-50 rule. That's not this rule. This rule is, do I have at least 50% of the teeth in my mouth? In a full arch, in one arch, do we have at least 50% of the teeth? When we get rid of this one, we are less than 50%. Remember, we're restoring 12 teeth. We're not restoring 14. So you've got 3 and 2. So after this patient that's been complaining about the financials for the whole visit, what do you think she's going to say when that breaks off in a year or 2? Well, she's going to be pretty pissed off, and that she's going to have to now somehow find the money to now restore this with yet another implant, because she doesn't have any other choice there. So, to avoid the headache years later, I said that I told the patient that this one is weak. You've outlasted the lifespan for it, and you also have giant MOD fillings over here. So what are you going to do? You won't get out of more dentistry. And certainly if you do this model, you actually have quite a bit of expense into this model. So if you're inclined to decide against your natural teeth and do an overbar locator system, or just a locator over denture system, or a fixed hybrid on 6 implants, or if you even want to do a hybrid on 4 implants, that's fine. Now, once you do that, the possibilities do kind of open up, right? Now you're looking at putting implant here. Maybe you keep it in the lateral position there. You take this down here, and this is where we are starting. And now you can see that we have a pretty darn good system where this would be a very well balanced full upper locator system, which would be basically the cost if she did 4 implants and a 6-unit prosthetic with cantilevers. So, but she doesn't have to worry about this one failing in a few years. So, or needing crowns on these. She doesn't want to spend more thousands of dollars for the crowns and another implant there. That's probably at least a $4,000 to $6,000 bill. So that's where she's now re-examining. So we spent an hour trying to explain the first 4 options, and then I threw in at the end this possibility. Now, patients aren't ready to accept the idea that they will have all their teeth extracted, that's for sure. So we have to let her see, pick and choose, and she's probably just going to throw the dart at the cheapest price point she can get. Now, when she decides on an all-on-4 or any kind of full upper piece, when she's used to full natural occlusion, I have to then warn her and now educate her about a locator system, an overbar system, which we wouldn't need to do an overbar, but we could look at then what a hybrid would do, which is going to cost her more, than just the overdenture locator, which a locator overdenture would work out really fine here for her, and that's what I would do. But that's also, it's easily maintained, you can clean it, it can easily be fixed, it's like way easier. So that's this case. It's kind of interesting how it comes up, starts with the 6, but then ends up as a full arch plan. And that's something that you really have to kind of pay attention to, because they do come up and it will bite you later if you don't address the weakest link in the entire system, which turns out to be something that's not even broken yet. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. I thought that was a really good one. I thought I'd try to break that into 2, but I think I was able to summarize basically everything that I wanted to say all in this one video. So I appreciate it. Thanks for holding on. And check out the other videos that we're doing, and check out some live streams, and like us on Facebook, and subscribe, and all that stuff, YouTube. Thanks. Take care.